Independiente Del Valle's coach's comments after what Messi did in the match. Independiente Del Valle's coach, Joaquin Papa, appeared at the post-match press conference after the loss to Inter Miami with an obvious mix of frustration and realism, as if he understood that what happened last night wasn't simply a defeat, but a direct clash with footballing forces that no team can contain when they're at their absolute peak. Papa sat down in front of the journalists, running his hands over his face, as if trying to organize his thoughts before speaking about a match that was just another chapter in the long list of nights dominated by Lionel Messi. Papa began by saying in a calm tone but charged with emotion, "What we saw last night was an extremely tough test, not only for us as a team, but for any team that comes up against this. When you face a player like Lionel Messi, a player capable of making the difference in every single moment, the margin between success and failure becomes so small that you can lose it in a second." He paused for a few seconds before continuing, as if mentally replaying the entire match, from Messi's first touch to every intervention that kept pushing his team to play more comfortably, to the two specific blows that ended up defining the night. He added, "It's hard to describe what Messi did today. He was directly involved in both goals. He scored one and created the other with a kind of reading of the game that can't be taught. Every pass, every touch, every off-the-ball movement was a clear message that we were facing a player from a different category, a player who plays the match at a mental speed that's impossible for any defender to anticipate." Papa spoke about the goal Messi scored, clarifying that it was from the penalty spot and calling it the turning point of the game. Even on a penalty, the way Messi takes it is an example of confidence, timing, and precision. It wasn't simply a ball. That went into the net. It was a statement that Inter Miami has a player capable of changing the course of the match whenever he wants. We saw how Miami's players raised their tempo after that moment and how ours dropped mentally, even if it wasn't obvious in their movements. He then went on to discuss the play for the second goal in more detail, noting that although it was different from the first, it shared the same common factor: brilliance. He said, "On the second play, we thought we had managed to contain him. We cut down his space, forced him into an uncomfortable decision, but Messi doesn't need a lot of space. He needs just a few tenths of a second to find an angle nobody else sees. And he did. It's the play that hurts the most, because it's when you feel like you're right there, and still he breaks you." And he added with a resigned gesture, "Those kinds of actions don't warn you. They just happen. That's the difference between a normal player and a player who turns the impossible into routine." Papa explained that the problem didn't lie only in Messi's individual quality, but in the influence his mere presence exerts. When you have a player like Messi on the field, the opponent is forced to completely change their defensive behavior. Our players started to feel like they had to be close to him all the time, and that created huge spaces that Inter Miami exploited extremely well. You're facing a player who draws 2 or 3 defenders toward him and then, calmly, decides where the ball needs to go. In a calmer tone, he also spoke about the mental aspect that made the difference. The hardest part wasn't running after the ball, but running after the ideas Messi creates. He forces you to think more than you need to. He forces you to make rushed decisions. And that's what happened with some of our players at different moments. That kind of mental pressure is what sets great players apart, and especially Messi. He then offered sincere words to his players and the fans. "I'm not mad at the players at all. They made a great effort. They tried with everything they had, but we came up against a player who's impossible to contain when it's his day. Maybe we weren't at our best, but Inter Miami was very close to perfect in the key moments, and Messi was the main factor." To close, he spoke about the importance of learning from a loss like this. "We'll go back to the video. We'll analyze every play where Messi showed up. Not to blame the players, but to learn. Learn from the details, from the small mistakes, from the spaces we didn't close. These are the matches that build strong teams, if you know how to handle them." And he concluded by expressing deep respect for Messi with an unusual sincerity. "I know our fans are upset, and I understand it. Thanks for watching our video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time."